Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the AEW report for the 3rd of November 2021. Obviously, a bit behind, unfortunately, with that, but it is what it is, and my schedule's been crazy. So, in any event, this is again the AEW report. Not a bad show. Some good stuff overall. Um, Things I don't understand about the main event or the structuring of the show, but for the most part, there's good stuff here. Opening with Excalibur speaking on behalf of the company, saying that they support John Moxley as he goes into rehab during this difficult time, is how they worded it. Anyway, Kenny Omega with Michael Nakazawa defeating Allen Five Angels. There's no way that Nakazawa should be on national TV. And Kenny Omega versus Allen Angels is a match they did probably a year ago. It has its value, but most people wouldn't see it, and it's fine. But Angels should be out of that Dark Order junk by now and on to something better. Angels comes out with a drop kick at the opening bell, but it doesn't get very far. Strikes and chops by Omega, and Angels um, has him pretty well scouted until the Kudo Crusher and then a midsection kick takes him out. Angels gets taken down for 2 count. Angels avoids a V trigger and rolls Omega up with a near fall before taking him out with a suicide drive. Omega recognizes and regains control on the floor, but's met with a moonsault and a top rope crossbody for near fall. Angels then tries to follow up with a frog splash, but Omega blocks with the knees. Pop up powerbomb gets a 2 count. Angels fights out, and a one-winged angel and a roll up of Omega for the 2 count before kicking out of the V trigger, just like last year. 2 more V triggers follow up to give Omega a win. After the match, Omega mockingly thanks Angels for ruining his career. Nakazawa throws him a chair, and Omega sets up one winged angel, but Hangman Page's music hits, and he walks out to confront Omega. Omega then ducks to avoid a buckshot lariat. As Page stands tall, Omega had left the world belt in the ring. Page told him to hold it tight. He's got 10 days left. Hopefully, Page gets the title, and Omega fades into obscurity where his costume stuff belongs. Anyway, Mikael Black addresses Tony Khan, banning him from ringside for the Cody Andrade match. He said that he wouldn't have an effect on the outcome of the match, and CM Punk cuts promo. Punk said that he's not in a great mood. He said there's 2 people who aren't here tonight, and one isn't here for legitimate reasons, and that's John Moxley, and that gets a chant. He said he understands taking a break and stepping away. He's proud of Moxley for doing it. Punk addresses anyone at home watching who needs help and tells them to get help. Classy move by Punk. The second person who is not here is Eddie Kingston. Punk said that there's no beef between him and Kingston. He'd fight him, but Kingston isn't here. Punk says he's going to be in St. Louis waiting to accept Kingston's apology. Kingston is the reason Punk isn't joining the Eliminator tournament. The confrontation will happen on Friday. Miro addresses his God, and after all the prayers, he's finally placed into the title race. Miro will be champion, and then his God will be forgiven. Assuming this means that he's Moxley's replacement in the match. And so there is a brawl. That's a segment just to fill time. I hate these because they serve no purpose. Super Click are backstage with Alex Marvez, another useless being. Adam Cole said that last week shenanigans were fluke, and that ultimately Nick Jackson said tough guys are not afraid of anyone. Christian Cage walks by. He and Matt talked him down before Luchasaurus appeared behind them. Breaks down into a brawl, spills out into the stage area. Luchasaurus was low blowed, and the Super Click stood tall until Jungle Boy wipes out everyone with a dive. Christian spears Matt on the stage and then goes for the kill switch, but Nick lands a super kick. Jurassic Express regains control. Luchasaurus powerbombs Nick onto Cole before Jungle Boy locks Cole in the snare trap. Christian crushes Cole with a Concerto. I hate this because it's just spots and chaos and spectacle for the sake of it. And while I understand that there's interplay between all the characters, better booking would mean that this isn't necessary. A video promo airs for Ruby Soho versus Chris Statlander. Soho's nervous but confident, while Statlander wants to be a champion. AAA Tag Team Championships FDR, Harwood and Wheeler, with Tully Blanchard, defeats Samurai Del Sol and Aerostar. Samurai and Aerostar take control right away, forcing FDR to go out to the floor. They regroup. Aerostar takes out both FDR with a dive to the outside and assists a double dropkick. Samurai then uses a springboard twisting senton. Aerostar hits a step-up senton bomb. FTR catches a double Rana attempt and dumps Aerostar over the ropes. And after commercial, Aerostar feigned on a dive and instantly drives down Harwood on the floor. Reverse driving headbutt allows Aerostar to reach Samurai for the tag. Samurai lays out a series of kicks, and then Aerostar uses teamwork to assist on the dive for the two. They both landed Ranas for cradle and near falls, and Darby Allin shown in the crowd. Samurai hits sliced bread, and Aerostar hits yet another dive for 2 count. Dives for the sake of dives, and that's just lucha. If you like it, that's great. I don't, and honestly, I don't think it has a place outside of a special attraction on US TV unless it's a lucha-based promotion. That's a personal opinion, nothing more, nothing less. Harwood counters a dive and hits a Braid Buster on the floor. Aerostar and Wheeler exchange cradles with one grabbing the ropes. Leverage retaining the titles with the pin. Last week, Shida is given her 50-win trophy for being the first AEW woman to accomplish that. Nyla Rose and Vicky Guerrero interrupt with Rose saying Shida ran into a roadblock. Inner Circle picks America's top team opponents. I understand why they're doing this, but at the same time, it feels goofy to me. Sammy Guevara wins against Ethan Page last week, so the Inner Circle gets to choose Lambert and company interrupt when Jericho calls them a collection of dumb idiots. What unique promo skills by Jericho anyway. Lambert tells Jericho to put respect on his name before running down his team, outlining each of their unique strengths. Hager chooses Del Santos. At Full Gear, he'd be dropped faster than his 71-second last fight. Santana wants Andrei Arlovsky, asking what happens when there aren't any rules and regulations. Paige Van Zant volunteers herself for the Street Fight Jericho joke, you want to take on all 5 of us by yourself. They force surprising Lambert by adding him to the match, and Lambert is angry by this. Dante Martin and Leo Rush are being interviewed, but are interrupted by Matt Sydal, who said that he still thinks Martin has potential. There are other people with potential, though, so Sydal has taken Lee Marshall under his wing, and Sydal challenged them to a tag match, and Rush accepts. Not exactly a fan of this, but it is what it is, and whatever. Anyway, TBS Championship Tournament, Jamie Hayter with Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, and Rebel defeats Anna Jay. Makes sense for the story. Neither woman really established a early advantage until Jay reverses a whip into the barricade on the outside. Hayter hits a boot, and then they go to break. Once back, Jay makes a comeback with clotheslines and a DDT for a near fall, and then the Queen Slayer, but Hayter flips out of it before Jay applies it once again. Rebel distracts the official, allowing Baker to interfere. Hayter then hits a lariat for the win. Heels beat down Jay after the match. Ty Conti runs out, makes the save. Predictable, but it makes sense, and eventually everyone's overwhelmed by the numbers advantage. Thunder Rosa comes out and evens the odds. Women's division with the women that are pretty decent is developing nicely, albeit slowly. Jade Cargill and Mark Sterling were backstage, so it doesn't matter who she faces in round 2, she'll keep it short and sweet. I would believe that Jade Cargill is probably the best of the people to be potentially in a position to win. Then we move to the nature of MJF and Darby Allin promo and brawl. Second brawl on the show that didn't need to be here, but at least it gave us an MJF promo. MJF addresses Darby Allin, saying they're both pillars, and without them, the company doesn't work. The fans know that they're both going to become legendary, so why is it they boo MJF and cheer Allin? They hate MJF because it reminds them of someone successful in their lives. He said he's a symbol of everything they wish they could be, but Allin is the one that's an outsider. He'll never fit in. Even though Allen's cool and brooding between the ropes, he turns into a glorified stuntman. MJF says Allen will lose at Full Gear because he's better than Allen, and Allen knows it. Allen's energy doesn't matter because MJF is the better wrestler, and MJF could have him beat at any time, could beat it with a headlock takeover, he says. Allen said that at Full Gear they'd have a wrestling match because he let his anger and aggression get the better of them, and right now MJF walked to the ramp, met with Sting, and a line of people dressed like Sting. Wardlow and Shawn Spears came out and brawled with the clones, and MJF and Allen fight outside the ring. I'm not a fan of this, but it is what it is. Anyway, they brawl to the outside. Allen said MJF into the barricade and lands a running clothesline to send MJF into the ringside area. Allen rolls MJF into the ring and goes for a coffin drop, but MJF escapes. And we leave with Darby Allin standing tall. Andrade defeats Cody Rhodes with Arn Anderson. What a fall for Cody Rhodes to be losing to Andrade. Big strikes early to start. Andrade hits Cody. Rope escape scouted, but then Cody pulls Andrade off the apron, takes control. Cody then counters with a dive and a drop kick, but Andrade reverses. Disaster kick by pushing Cody to the floor. Once back from the commercial, Cody hits a power slam and fires up, but is met with a bunch of booing. And then Andrade fights out with a double underhook and landed back elbow for a 2 count. Cody reversed, and then the corner drop kick. Gets hit with a lariat. Andrade then counters Crossroads and hits a 2 count for Three Amigos and a suplex and a series of suplexes, and then he hits a third into the corner. Cody avoids split leg moonsault and lays out before the bionic elbows that followed. Cody then goes for a figure 4, but Andrade locks it on instead, so Cody flips over, reversing pressure, and sends into his opponent. Cody wants to dive, but Andrade has interference from the outside, so On takes him out. And FTR rolls out from under the ring, and they hit Cody with the belts. And then Andrade hits a hammerlock DDT for the win. Post-match, FTR and Tully held Cody up as they all beat him down. Arn and Tully faced off, but then the Lucha Brothers run out and they fight off FTR. And it looked like they locked on their finisher, but Wheeler pulls Harwood out of the ring before they could actually hit it. And then John Silver was in the ring with Tony Schiavone. Silver said he wouldn't be facing Adam Cole on Rampage. He'd be facing Budge. And then he's given Cole lots of advice. Cole hasn't taken any of it, and then that makes him mad. This Friday, he's given kick some Budge ass, and then there we go. Video promo airs for Bunny versus Red Velvet. Bunny said she'd do whatever it takes, even if that means becoming a villain. Velvet said she'd beat Bunny again. Rampage for 11-5. Adam Cole versus John Silver. TBS tournament, Red Velvet and the Bunny, and CM Punk and Eddie Kingston face to face. This is what it is, but it's kind of weak actually. So, Miro is replacing Jon Moxley, who was stepping away from wrestling to enter treatment for alcohol addiction. Anyway, so, um, you know, they kind of acknowledge that, and then we go to the World Championship Eliminator Tournament. Miro defeated Orange Cassidy. Match starts with 8 minutes left in the show. Cassidy taped up ribs, but he toys with Miro from the start. Miro catches a tope and then just basically uses power. Miro controls and continues to dominate through the commercial, and then we return. Orange fires up, lays in shots, and hits a shotgun dropkick. They go around the floor, and then they hit the DDT for a 2 count. Miro rolls to the floor to avoid Orange punch. So Cassidy climbs the ropes and drives Miro through a table with a diving elbow. Official counts to 9. Miro barely makes it in. Miro counters an Orange punch, but Cassidy rolls out and hits a beach break for a near fall. Miro crashes Orange and hits a leaping kick before applying the game over for the submission. And Danielson walks down to the ring to face off with Miro to close the show. Overall, good things on the show, but it doesn't do all that well in ratings, and it comes off kind of weak. In any event, we'll be back with more right after this.